This is my favorite knee flexion exercise. I'll sit in this position for about 5 to 10 minutes and I'll just keep working that foot closer to my butt. Here I am checking to see how close I am. Here we are. We made it. Dr. Johnson's office, Holland Bone and Joint Center. So I'll let you know what he says afterwards. Hey, welcome to my vlog series regarding my knee replacement. Many of you know I had my left knee replaced 6 weeks ago. In fact, it was 6 weeks ago yesterday, and this afternoon, or later this morning, I'm heading out to my doctor's office down in Holland to go get my 6-week evaluation. And I'm feeling really well. So February 14th, 2024, I had my total knee replacement on the left knee. Like a lot of people, bone-on-bone arthritis, no ACL, severely tilted tibia and fibula at 7 degrees varus. And you may have saw that photo right at the very beginning. I showed the two pictures of my knee before and after, or after and before, or whatever. That is before and after, I believe. And you can see how much my knees was really tilted there. But I'm back in my cabin waiting. I got about another 20 minutes before I have to head out. But I just want to touch base on a few things and let you know how I'm doing. I'm doing great. I feel really good. I mean, I feel better than good. In fact, my left knee now feels better than my right knee. I do have some strength deficits I'm trying to overcome. But that's from years of babying it and favoring it. Even though I worked out, you know, you can always work around your pain. So I was able to keep it relatively strong. I'm happy with where I'm at. I feel great mentally, physically. It's just fantastic. If you're thinking about getting it, might as well just get it scheduled. When I had mine, I had a lot of anxiety the week of. I didn't sleep much, and I have a sleep protocol I use at night, and I wasn't allowed to use it several days before, about a week before my surgery due to anesthesia. If you want to know what it is, shoot me a message, ask me in an email, and I'll gladly give it out. I don't want to talk about it here on YouTube, but it works wonders for me. And as soon as the surgery was over, I was able to start getting on my sleep protocol, what I use to sleep. And for me, it worked fantastic. Talk about sleep real quick here. Many people don't sleep after their knee surgery. I slept great from day one. Got home from the hospital after only being down there for 6 or 7 hours. I think we got home about 4:30. I think actually the time we walked in was exactly 4:20. And I was already walking around. I walked probably a half a mile total in the hospital. And I got home and I walked a couple of laps around the house and just shook her loose. I felt good. The doctors, the nurses, everybody told me I'd have the breakthrough pain. They called it breakthrough pain on day 3 and day 4. I never really had much breakthrough pain. You know, they prescribed me medication to deal with it. They prescribed me Oxycontin, I believe it's called, or Oxycodone. I think it's Oxycontin. A nerve block pill, I believe was Lyrica, and another pill for muscle spasms. And I think day 1, the first day home, I took Oxy that night and some nerve block. And then the next day, I did take the Oxy. The first day home, I took the Oxy and the nerve block. And then I realized I didn't need it. You know, they said to stay ahead of it. I don't think I took it anymore after that. So really, the next day is the only time I took it. By day 2, I had it on a Wednesday. By Friday, I was already feeling a little bit of pain coming through. That, you know, they numb up your knee. They put nerve blocks in there of some sort, or anesthesia in your knee of some sort to help alleviate that pain. And they say it's going to be brutal on day 2 and day 3. I didn't find it that bad. I could always find a place to get comfortable, and I always was able to relax with ice and take care of my knee. So I was very happy with that. By the first week, by Wednesday the following week, I was already walking miles a day. And by the second week, I already put in 2 miles. Before the second week, I put in 2 miles on my walk. And before my 4th week, the day before my 4th week, 3 weeks and 6 days, I was able to complete a 6-mile hike through the park, down trails, uneven ground. I'm not talking about on the elliptical of the basement, which I was doing already. I'm not talking about, a treadmill on uneven ground trails though. So I did have one little setback earlier that only set me back about a week. I tripped on a vine on one of my trails, and it kind of locked up my knee a little bit for about a day. I did deal with that, and that was on day 9, I believe. However, it only lasted a short 24 hours and really felt good after that. So sleep, I was talking about sleep. You heal when you sleep. I was able to sleep every single night in my bed. I wasn't in pain at nighttime. I wasn't uncomfortable. Day 1, I put the ice bag around my knee, or the ice machine on my knee, and I slept with it all night. There's no fear of freezing or frostbite with the ice machine, because it's just water and ice. It can't get any colder than 32 degrees, I guess. I just left it on. I had a barrier underneath it, but after that, it's the only night I did that with. And when I went to bed and slept through the night, starting from day 1. I also had a ferocious appetite. I was eating everything, and I can tell I gained a few pounds, a few lbs there. And I noticed that when I went to the doctors, I had to get on the scale. I think I gained probably 3 pounds. It's because I'm not doing as much as I was. But my appetite was great. I never got nauseous. I was eating everything. But that makes sense, because you're burning a lot of calories trying to heal that wound up. I also, every morning when I woke up, very first thing I did is I took my aspirin, which I had to take an aspirin every morning and evening for blood clotting. And I took my multivitamins, my vitamin C, and all the regular things we take. And a protein shake every morning. Your body needs a lot of protein. You're laying down a lot of scar tissue. So the body's I used protein shakes to help get the extra protein. So, and my wife fed me great. Another thing I had is I had a great support staff, being with my wife and my kids. My wife took off the first 3 days, I believe, and I believe the following Monday. She did. Because the first 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I had it done Wednesday, she helped out a lot. One of the things she did is she did it all the way up until she even did it the other day. There was a lot of massage therapy on my thigh and my calf, where she just I put it up, I elevate my leg, and she just keep working it, and I really never swelled up much. I did use ice after about 2.5 weeks. That was about it. Now, the day I did the 6-mile walk, I think I used ice for about a half an hour when I got home, just to maybe prevent, and elevated it, maybe to prevent some swelling, but I didn't experience much swelling either. I don't know why. Everybody heals differently. Some people heal extremely fast. I guess maybe I'm one of the lucky ones. My hips were the same way. I had both the hips done, and I was able to get back to work. I had them done on Monday, both of them, and I was able to get back to work by Friday. And I ran a martial arts school for a living. So I had no problems with the hips. And if I was still in business, we shut down back in 21 after 25 years of business. But if I was still running the business, I would have been back to work weeks ago with no problem. I have been exercising every day. I did my PT just like they said, and then I added what you saw at the beginning of the video. I did a lot of that stuff without weights to begin with. I was on that elliptical by probably the 5th or 6th day, but I was only doing like minutes at a time, and then the next day I'd add another minute, then another minute, and finally, after about 2 weeks, I was up to the full 30 minutes, and I think after 4 weeks, I just put it on random. I used to just leave it on the, like the second to the lowest setting on resistance. Now I let it run through all the programming, the resistance that it wants to give me. So no problems with that. One of the things I wanted to do was get on my tractor. And I wasn't able to do that the first week. I thought I'd been able to. I got on it after 7 days, and I wasn't able to push the clutch. My tractor has a clutch for my left foot. And it makes me bring my knee, up pretty high. Well, that's my right, obviously. And then I had to push down. And it wasn't a problem bringing my leg up and bending my knee. The problem was the push with my foot. And that hurt a little bit. So after 10 days, though, it was either day 10 or day 11, I was able to get on it. And I think that really helped because I was working my clutch back and forth, and it was just like doing a little leg press. It felt really good. Another thing I utilized is a rocking chair. Just pumping my legs back and forth, bending that knee ever so slightly from 90 degrees to about, whatever it took to rock it. And you can always feel the tension. It always felt good. Weeks 1 through 2.5, I always felt like I had a band around my knee, like a big, thick rubber band all the way around it. It didn't hurt, but when you walked, it just felt tight. It just felt like it just didn't want to bend too much. But I just said, oh, well, it's there. I'm just going to bend through it. So I just bend through it. And sometimes they'd hit a point where it's like, ooh, that one ached a little bit. But it wasn't a problem. Something to be mindful of now that I'm noticing as I'm feeling, and I talked to the doctor, sent him a message, and he said that's nothing to worry about. And I'll talk to him again today about it. But I get some clunking. I can feel the mechanical parts in my knee actually clunking a little bit. And that's after even going online and talking to my doctor via message. He said it's just, your ligaments are loose, everything, we stretch things out. So it's just that it's just bumping a little bit in there. And sometimes it's a tendon rolling over or maybe a bony protrusion or something. But other than that, and those clunks don't hurt at all. You're just like, it's kind of weird, like almost like popping your knuckle. And that's getting better as I get stronger, as everything tightens up. I'm not getting as much clunking anymore. A couple of times when I was really working my flexion, I had a couple big pops. I'd bring my knee up and I'd pull it in, or you might have saw at the beginning, I'd do that rubber band, I'd feel a little think, a little snap in there. And the first time you'd feel that, you're a little startled. But after that, it's pretty nice. I think what it is, and that what I understood, that the physician assistant told me, that you're actually breaking the scar tissue, popping the scar tissue, and it does great. So now I'm doing a lot of scar tissue manipulation. And a good time to do that is when you're sitting on the can. You can see it. Don't bring your phone in there with you. Just while you're sitting there, work your scar tissue. You don't want to do that though until a couple of weeks. They told me about after 3.5 to 4 weeks. It's been 6 weeks now. I stopped taking the aspirin. My flexion, I feel really good, guys. It's just, there is no pain. There isn't any pain whatsoever in the knee anymore. My right knee feels worse than my left. So if something you're thinking about getting done, don't hesitate. You've been living in pain for a long time if you've got arthritis, and I'm telling you, you're going to feel a lot better. Now, I know there are some people that don't get the same results I've gotten, but I think it's worth the shot, guys. I think it really is. I feel like I got a new lease on life, and I'm almost ready to go have my right one done. We'll see what he says when we get in there. So don't hesitate on that. If you want to reach out to me and talk a little bit about it, I will gladly sit down with you. If you haven't watched any of my videos on this, I do have a series, days 1 through 4, what I experienced at the end of 1 week, at the end of 2 weeks, at the end of 3 weeks, at the end of 4 weeks, and now this one. The first 4 days, I had my walker, but I was gradually transitioning to my cane. And we had a bunch of snow on day 2, so I had to use the house as a little race course. And I had a little course through the house that I used. But by day 4, I was pretty well transitioned to a cane at week 1. at my therapy, after meeting my therapist, Brett, asked him about the cane around the house. He said, let me see you walk. And he said, oh, you're not even hardly using it anyhow. Your gait looks great. So he said, around the house, don't use it, someplace safe, but you get outside, take it. So about the first 2.5 weeks, I did use the cane when I went outside. I just carried it with me. If I did fall, it would be something I could use to get up. And it did help, a little bit of balance there. But then I got rid of the cane. Something I did do, and I don't know if I mentioned in the other videos, I used the walker on the first couple of days, but I always used my crutches at night. If I had to get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, I just thought I was more stable on my crutches instead of trying to walk with my walker at nighttime in the dark, trying to use the restroom. So I did use crutches during the nighttime. That's the only time. And sometimes after sitting for several hours at the end of the evening, I would get up with my crutch. And it seemed to help. All right. I got to leave here in a couple of minutes anyhow, and I'll see ya. All of us who have arthritis, we're always looking for ways around the arthritis, aren't we? What are we going to do? How are we going to feel better? What are we doing? I know many of you have a table like me, probably. I have my BioFreeze right here. Now, I haven't used this since my knee surgery due to the scar, and I don't think I even need this on this leg anymore. I'll put it on my knee. This is just feels good. What else do I have back here? If you have arthritis, I'm sure you have a heating pad, right? I use this heating pad quite often. It's often on my back. I did use the heating pad on my leg often, even on my knee. I just keep it like that and just warm up my knee a little bit. What else do I have down here? I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. These are a knee massager. I enjoy it. This is called the Kneecap Treasure. It just goes over your knee. Now we'll be starting to use it on this one. I have used this quite a bit on this knee. Not in the last couple of weeks, but when it was just achy in the evening at the end of the night, it takes your mind off everything. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have these things sitting next to your chair. I use this often. I do also have a little bit of arthritis in my neck. And if you haven't gotten one of these, oh, does this feel so good. I really enjoy this. So we'll sit here and watch TV. Let's turn it up Oop. There we go. There we go. I like it. There. We have one of these, right? Who doesn't have a massage gun? Oh, that feels so good. This one, I can't even read it with my glasses without them. Erling, I have different attachments. I like this one the best. The round ball kind of hurts a little bit, but I do like this big flat one. It feels really good. I get tennis elbow quite a bit too, and I'll use this on my arms. Last thing I have back here, who doesn't have a med back massager? medmassage.com massager. This thing's a beast. Whew. This thing, oh. If you haven't gotten one of these, get one of these. We all have our little things we do for our arthritis. And this is my arthritis pile of goods here. And obviously, I do journal all this. I keep a little journal of all my daily activities and everything I'm doing, so. All right, let's finish this video up. Hey, I just got back from Dr. Johnson's office down in Holland. his words were, "This is amazing, and I've not seen this too often. Very rarely does this happen," he said. And some of his questions were, "What have I been doing, and I told him, going into it, I told him what I've been doing. And the last time I went in there after 2 weeks, I just saw the the physician assistant. And he was pretty impressed with where I was at. So I told the doctor, and he absolutely loved what I was doing. I told him how many miles I've been walking. He had no problem with it. He said, let's just not chuck around heavy weights. And I haven't been. He goes, you got to use discretion still. Be careful. But he liked the fact that I was lifting weights. He had no problems with that. And I told him about how much I was using. He goes, your muscles will tell you. And he says, if your leg tells you it's tired, let it rest. I think for the fact that I built the strength up in my legs prior to the surgery, I've always maintained my strength and flexion. I think that really helped out a lot. He's pleased. He said, go ahead and start working in your activities. I told him I've been cutting firewood, but I haven't been going out into the woods. I've been doing it in my wood yard, and he had no problem with that. Told him about the sawmill. He liked that because it's going to be adding a little resistance as well. He had no problem. He was very excited. He looked like a kid on Christmas. So we talked about my right knee and some of the issues I'm having with it. Because my right knee, to be honest with you, doesn't feel as good as my left knee. My left knee, I'm going to say I'm at 100%. It's not the strength. Let me tell you, I don't have the strength I originally had. It's quite a bit diminished still. But if you watch the beginning of the video, if you got this far, you did see the beginning of the video. And I put in some clips about, just real quick clips of me lifting weights in the morning before I left this morning. And I do have some deficits still, but I could function the rest of my life just like this and be very pleased. He said, Jerry, it's only 6 weeks. Just think what you're going to feel like after 12. And he said, and it takes about a whole year until everything, and I'm like, well, I don't know how much better it can get. I literally felt better. As you know, I've been talking to you, if you followed my series, 3 or 4 weeks, and I was great to go. They didn't check my flexion today. I'm not sure. I know it's more than 130. It might be getting back to where it was, 135, closer to 140, I'm hoping. But that's besides the point. I feel great. The doctor's pleased. So guys, like I mentioned before, if you're thinking about knee replacement, make sure to get yourself in shape. Him and I already had the conversation about this one. When are we going to do it? And he said, it's not ready yet, and I agree. He also believes this knee, since it's in a little better shape than this one was, that it really helped cortisone shots. So this summer, if I start getting some aches like this one was getting, I'm going to head right back down there and get that cortisone shot. He's really optimistic about this one too, if we have to do this one. So we're going to just see how it goes. I feel great. If you're thinking about doing this, you're going to have some time from the date of your scheduled surgery. During that month, 2 months, 6 weeks, I can't stress enough, get in shape. Just do something, a little bit, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. For the last over a year now, let the grandfather clock finish. For over a year now, I've been working out every single day for a minimum of 30 minutes a day. Since my knee surgery, I put my time in then too. Now, I didn't do so much at the very beginning of my knee surgery. I did all the PT and then some. But I kept track of it. It was over 400 straight days of exercise, and I made sure I was on the elliptical, did something every single day for at least 30 minutes. On my lifting days, I usually had the elliptical for 30 and then another 30 to 45 minutes of lifting weights. Then obviously some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in there as well. Stay moving. It's like your arthritis. You already know what pain feels like. It feels good when it's moving. When you stop and then start moving again is when it hurts. As long as I'm moving, I'm in good shape. So I would suggest finding a fitness program, maybe joining a gym. Or if you have the ability to do it at your own house, or some people don't have the ability, even if they have all the weights at their own house, to do it. It's hard mentally doing it at your own place. Sometimes it's easier just to go somewhere like physical therapy or a gym to go get your exercise done. So get in shape, eat healthy, drop a few pounds, and you probably will have the same kind of success I had. Now again, even the doctors warned. He goes, he couldn't guarantee I'd have the same success for the right that I had for the left, but he said most likely you would have the same success. Attitude also. Carry yourself with an attitude of positivity. When you're feeling a little bit run down or worn out, put a smile on your face, and it does make it get better. It does feel better when you're happy. Find yourself a good support team like my wife. She was awesome. My kids were awesome. One of my favorite things my wife did for me was she worked massage therapy on my leg every single day, and not for just a couple of minutes. A half hour to an hour. She would work my leg when I'd have my leg up, and she would work on just slowly working the muscles. They were tight. Last week she was doing it. She goes, "My gosh, your calf feels normal now. It's not tight anymore." And my calf was probably the tightest, probably the sore. I did have for the first week and a half just stiffness where some stiffness where the tourniquet was for a couple of weeks. It wasn't bad. It was just like sore muscles. Same with my calf. Some of the swelling got into the calf. I didn't swell bad, but some of the swelling got into the calf, and it just really made it tight and painful. Not painful, just tight. Sore muscle. Maybe I like that. At its very worst, it was like a strained calf muscle. At the very worst, but I could still walk and function with no problem. So, all right, guys, I'm done. This is the 6-week series. I don't know. Maybe I'll let you know where I'm at in 12 weeks or 10 weeks. Unless you would like some other updates. If you would like some other updates, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, leave a comment. And also, if you have any questions, leave a comment or concerns or anything you want to talk about if you're leading up to this. I will gladly answer your questions. You can find my email if you want to email me, bigelowwoodcraft@gmail.com. And I think it's in probably the description too. You've got this. You can do it. I'm very pleased I did it. Like I said, I had a lot of anxiety the week before. And after 2 or 3 days, the day of the surgery, there's no looking back. And after 3 or 4 days, I was feeling fantastic. I was so happy. I can socialize without pain now. I can follow my friends around and hang out with people and walk through the parks without pain. A little bit in my right knee, but without pain. When you're not in pain, you're a happy person. So guys, thanks for following my journey. I hope you enjoyed this series. And there might be some more to come if you guys would like to see some more. But I think I'm ready to go. It's time for me to get out to the sawmill and start working out there next week. I got to finish up my firewood, and then I'm going to enjoy my summer. Take care, guys. Best of luck to you if you're having your surgery. Best of luck to any friend or family member who's having a surgery that you may be the caretakers for. Exercise. Thank you. Stay safe and have a great day.